Somewhere along the way, you became the strong one. The one everyone calls when things fall apart. But no one calls when you're the one falling apart. You learned to hold your face together in rooms where everyone else got to fall apart. You learned to say, "I'm fine," so often it stopped feeling like a lie and started feeling like the only thing you were allowed to say. Maybe it started young, in a house where someone else's crisis always came first. Maybe it started when a friend leaned on you once and you never got to lean back. Maybe you just noticed one day that you'd become the person everyone assumes is okay. Maybe it was after a breakup when everyone checked on the other person and you were just fine. Maybe it was after a loss when you were the one comforting everyone else at the funeral. If you're tired in a way sleep doesn't fix, this video is for you. Because being strong for too long isn't strength anymore, it's survival. Nobody sits you down and asks if you're okay because you never look like you're not. You show up early, you hold it together, you carry the weight without complaint. And somewhere in all that carrying, people stopped seeing you as someone who might need to be carried too. They started leaning on you, and you let them, because it felt better to be needed than to be a burden. But every single time you said, "I've got this," a small part of you quietly hoped someone would say, "Let me help." And when no one did, you just carried it anyway, because that's what you do. You've become so reliable that people forgot reliability has a cost. They forgot the strong friend gets tired too. The strong friend cries in the car too. In the 15 minutes before they have to walk inside and be fine, the strong friend sits on the bathroom floor sometimes and wonders who would notice if they stopped holding everything up. The strong friend answers the phone at midnight for everyone else's crisis, but has never once dialed a number themselves at midnight just to say, "I need someone." You've spent years being the calm in everyone else's storm, but no one ever asked what your storm looks like because you never let them see it. You built a version of yourself that can handle anything, and it worked so well people believed it completely. Even you started believing it until the exhaustion got too loud to ignore anymore. You keep waiting for the day it gets easier, but the weight only seems to grow, because every year, more people learn they can lean on you. And none of them learn that you might need someone to lean on too. You've become an expert at reading the room for everyone else's needs, while your own needs sit quietly at the bottom of the list, waiting for a turn that never comes. You've become the one who remembers everyone else's birthdays, the one who notices when a friend goes quiet and reaches out first every time, the one who shows up to every crisis with a plan, a ride, a shoulder, whatever's needed. And somewhere in all that giving, you forgot to ask who was doing that for you. You tell yourself it's just your personality, that you're naturally the dependable one. But dependable isn't the same as bottomless. You've been treated like you're bottomless for years. You've watched people fall apart over things far smaller than what you're quietly carrying. And you've smiled and told them it's going to be okay while carrying your own weight in silence. You've sat through other people's breakdowns with perfect patience, then gone home to an empty apartment and had no one to hand your own breakdown to. Nobody taught you that needing help is allowed. You just learned early that it wasn't safe to ask. Maybe asking once got you dismissed. Maybe it got you told you were being dramatic, too sensitive, too much. Maybe you watched someone else ask for help and get mocked for it, and you learned the lesson fast. So you stopped asking. And you got so good at not asking that people forgot you ever might. You started measuring your worth by how much you could carry without complaint, as if needing something made you weaker than the people who never had to hide it. You started believing that being needed was the closest thing to being loved you'd ever get. So you kept giving, hoping the giving itself would eventually be enough to be seen. Here's the truth no one told you when you took on this role. Strength isn't supposed to be a permanent performance. It's supposed to be something you can put down. You were never meant to carry everyone else's weight and still have none of your own to set down. The fact that you're exhausted doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been doing the work of 10 people alone. And you're allowed to stop. You're allowed to be the one who needs help for once. You're allowed to say, "I'm not okay," and let the silence that follows be someone else's problem to sit with for a change. You don't owe anyone a version of yourself that never cracks. The people who only love the strong version of you were never loving all of you anyway. They loved what you could give them, not who you actually are underneath it. The right people can handle your tired days too. That's what makes them the right people. A real friend doesn't disappear the moment you stop being useful. A real friend stays even when you have nothing left to offer but your presence. If the people around you only show up when you're holding everything together, that's worth noticing. Not with anger, just with honesty about what that relationship actually is. Ask yourself who in your life has seen you fall apart and stayed anyway. If the list is short, that's not a reason for shame. It's just information worth sitting with. So if you've been carrying everything alone for far too long, let this be your permission to put some of it down. You don't have to earn rest by falling apart first. You don't have to wait until you break to be allowed to ask for help. You've been strong enough for long enough. It's okay to be soft again. It's okay to let someone else hold something for a while, even just for tonight. It's okay to text someone and say the truth instead of the reassurance they're used to hearing from you. It's okay if it feels foreign at first, like a language you forgot you knew. That discomfort isn't a sign you're doing it wrong. It's just proof of how long it's been since you let yourself need anything. Start small if you have to. Let someone carry one thing this week, just one. Let someone bring you food instead of you bringing it to them for once. Let someone check on you without you having to ask first. Notice how it feels to be on the receiving end of care, even if it feels unfamiliar. Discomfort will fade the more you allow it. And slowly, the weight you've been carrying alone will start to feel shared instead of solitary. You might worry that if you stop being the strong one, people will stop needing you at all. That fear is understandable, but it's built on a false trade. The people worth keeping don't stay because you're useful. They stay because you exist. Testing that might feel risky. The alternative is staying exhausted forever to avoid finding out. One day, the weight will ask you to put it down whether you're ready or not. It's kinder to yourself to choose that moment now on your own terms instead of waiting for collapse. You are allowed to be someone's person without being everyone's rescue. You are allowed to have a bad day out loud without immediately reassuring everyone you're fine. You are allowed to disappoint someone by finally saying no. None of that makes you less strong. It makes you human, which you are always allowed to be. It might take practice to believe that. Old habits like this don't disappear in one conversation. But every small honest moment chips away at the belief that you have to earn your place by being useful. Give yourself credit for every time you almost said, "I'm fine," and told the truth instead. That's not a small thing. That's years of pattern quietly starting to unwind. If this reached the part of you that's been tired for years, you're not alone in that. There are more people like you than you think, quietly holding everything together, waiting for permission they never got to put it down. Maybe this video is that permission. Maybe today is the day you let one thing go. Maybe it's a small thing, a chore, a favor, a role you never agreed to but somehow inherited. Whatever it is, you don't have to carry it today just because you carried it yesterday. Subscribe, because I make these for people just like you who never get asked if they're okay. Next time, I'll be the one checking in on you.